Dr. Rachel Kim had been aboard the starship Eternal Ascent for 6 months, studying the technological achievements of the Calathi, a species with the cruelest customs in the galaxy. The Calathi were dragon-like beings who continued growing throughout their lives and could reach 3 meters in height. Their cruelty lay in this. On their 5-kilometer ship, they had built the Halls of Mercy, a place where every cub whose growth stopped was sent. The Halls of Mercy haunted Rachel's nightmares. Empty rooms where undersized younglings were left with minimal rations, so they would quietly fade away and never burden their families. Rachel avoided that section of the ship whenever she could, just to keep from crying. But 2 weeks earlier, she had found Cyril hiding in a ventilation duct near the xenobiology lab. The young Calathi was barely 1.2 meters tall. Her green scales were dull with hunger. Rachel gave her food. Cyril gave her something far more valuable: information. "There are 17 of us. The elders sent us to the Hall of Mercy, but we escaped," she whispered, trembling. "We hide in the walls. We know the ship better than the elders. We have to, otherwise we die." For 2 weeks Rachel secretly brought food to Cyril and the other cubs. And then she saw one of them repairing a faulty sensor in Maintenance Tunnel 7B, nimble claws dancing across the wires. "I have an idea," Rachel said without thinking. "I'm going to teach you. Engineering, systems maintenance, safety protocols. Everything your ancestors built, everything your people can no longer reach." Cyril's eyes widened. "The elders will never allow." "They don't have to know, not yet." Rachel pulled up a holographic schematic of the ventilation system. Thousands of kilometers of ducts, conduits, and crawl spaces that had become less and less accessible to the giant Calathi. "Your ancestors designed this 3 generations ago, when they were smaller. Now your own bodies keep you out of a third of your ship." Over the next month, Rachel secretly trained Cyril and the other so-called runts. She taught them how to read schematics, identify hazardous materials, and follow emergency procedures. The students were brilliant, desperate, motivated, hungry for purpose. They named themselves the Duct Wardens, and they slid through the hidden passages of the ship like ghosts, repairing systems the Calathi didn't even know were failing. And then came the breach. Rachel was in her quarters when the siren screamed. "Hull integrity compromised in Cargo Bay 7. Toxic gas detected. Sections 14 through 19, evacuate." She sprinted to the bridge. Elder Krath was already shouting orders. "Engineering teams to Cargo Bay 7, immediately." But the teams couldn't get there. The leak was deep in the lower maintenance sublevel, where corridors narrowed to a single meter. The shutoff valves were manual, designed for the smaller Calathi of old, and required delicate manipulation impossible for the massive claws of the current generation. "We are sealed out of our own ship," Krath growled, and for the first time Rachel heard fear in his voice. "The gas will spread through the vents. 6,000 souls are at risk. We have 1 hour." Rachel stepped forward. "I know those who can reach it." Krath's head snapped toward her. "Impossible, my best engineers. Can't fit through a meter-wide tunnel, but I know 17 Calathi who can." His eyes narrowed. "Runts." "Duct Wardens," Rachel corrected, "and they're your only chance." Minutes later Cyril stood before the council, wearing a custom-fitted hazmat suit and a delicate work tool kit. "The valves are here, here, and here," Rachel pointed out. 3 manual shutoffs in sequence. Then you activate the scrubbers at junction 7K. Can you do it?" Cyril nodded and vanished into the narrow hatchway, followed by 3 other wardens. The council watched through helmet cameras as the small Calathi slipped into places the elders had not been able to reach for decades. Cyril moved confidently and fast. Her 2 small claws turned ancient mechanisms with perfect precision. "First valve sealed," she reported, moving to junction 7F. The gas levels were rising. Evacuations continued, but time was running out. If SCERL made a single mistake, thousands would die. Second valve sealed. There's corrosion on the third. Give me 2 minutes. Krath's claws dug into his throne. Rachel held her breath. Third valve sealed, activating scrubbers. On the displays, the toxin levels began to fall, slowly at first, then rapidly. 10 minutes later, the all-clear signal sounded. 6,000 lives saved by 4 younglings who were supposed to die quietly in the halls of mercy. When SCERL crawled back out of the duct, she stood before Krath. The giant Calathi stared at her, then bowed his head. "The duct wardens have proven their worth," he thundered. "They possess skills we lost in our pursuit of size. They can go where we cannot, do what we cannot. They are not runts. They are indispensable." SCERL straightened. For the first time in months, her scales gleamed with health. "The halls of mercy will be closed," Krath continued. "All Calathi, regardless of size, will be trained according to their abilities. We built this ship for all our people. It is time we remembered that." Rachel watched as more duct wardens emerged from the maintenance shafts, no longer hiding. They were small by Calathi standards, but they stood proud. They had found their place not despite their size, but because of it. Humanity's gift to the Calathi wasn't technology or weaponry. It was a simple truth. Every form, every size, every difference has value. Evolution doesn't move in a single direction, and strength comes in many shapes. Sometimes the smallest hands achieve the greatest feats, especially when only they can reach the levers that save everyone. Subscribe to the channel to catch all our new stories.